Same spiel as before. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Blood on the Grand Strand. This is Epilogue 4, Does the Darkness Know Your Name? Let's meet our dark vampires, starting with Kitsu.
Hello, I'm Kitsu. I play Astrid Tremere.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Josh.
Hello, I am Hunter the Ravnos.
Thank you. It's been 3 nights since the meeting between the Camarilla and the Anarchs, and 2 nights since the destruction of both the Sabbat Domain, Club Karma, and the Princess Haven Magi Quest. Most of the Anarchs were asked to vacate the Grand Strand temporarily to the safety of Tabor City across the border until their numbers could be recouped and a plan of action could be established against Kananti and his Cathari. But not every kindred has abandoned Myrtle Beach. Astrid, you remained, along with your fellow daughter of Oblivion, Susie. Right now, you're in that dark storage unit belonging to Hunter, the one where barely 2 weeks prior, you escaped the sunrise with Susie and Magnolia after diablerizing your grandsire. Magnolia, of course, is not with you. Anthony saw to that during your encounter with Kananti 2 nights ago. But of course, right after the explosion of Club Karma, your coterie raced to the Prince's domain. A soul calling, a pulling of the blood inside of you compelled you to the spot. And there you found your sire, Prince Dean Preston, badly damaged from the blast. You pulled him from the wreckage and saved him from the quickly rising sun. And now he lays before you on a metal workbench, still in torpor. Susie is, as you know, cannot speak. She's mute. Your coterie mate Anthony discovered when he used his flesh crafting abilities that her throat was slit when she was still mortal. So when making her a vampire, she does not repair itself. And she's frantically gesturing to you, trying to communicate to you in the way that you've learned to communicate with her. She's indicating to you that this is the opportunity that could mean everything. Your sire lays here. Why do we not kill him? Why do we not diablerize him like you did his sire? You could be prince. You could reestablish the Camarilla here. We could be safe.
We could, but I spoke with our shadow, with Anita, and I spoke with Hunter. And since then, I've learned a few things, and I think that you are very right, that this is a very big opportunity.
She begins gesturing frantically again. The Camarilla court loves you. Every time we had to go to Elysium because your sire demanded it of us, they showed you deference and respect. They would follow you.
This could be true, but it would put me in a position where I would need to do what he was doing.
She asks, why would you have to do things the way he did them?
Because there's some protocols that we need to follow. But also, I believe I have a plan.
She asks what it is.
I have something a little bit better. Something that would actually help us in many ways. That will help Myrtle Beach. Step aside. And she comes closer to him. And she would try to, she just looks at him. What does he look like right now?
He looks very peaceful. He looks as if he is sleeping. His clothes are torn and tattered. You can see burn marks on his face and his hands that are not under cloth. But for all intents and purposes, he looks as if he is sleeping. You know, of course, he is not just sleeping.
She's going to try and save him.
What do you do exactly?
She's going to raise her blood potency and take her ritual knife and slit her wrist.
As soon as Susie sees you pull out your knife, she grabs onto your wrist and begins shaking her head as if to say, don't wake him. Don't do this. Instead, she pulls out a stake and holds it up and says, and shows it to you as if to, she would do this for you.
No. This will make him forever in my debt. I need a pawn like him. I got this.
Susie stops you again, but this time it's not to stop what is occurring here. It's because she hears something outside. Hunter, you have pulled up outside of the storage unit.
Yes. He, I don't think he's rushing, but he makes his way to the storage unit pretty quick, direct.
Susie looks frightened and indicates that she's going to hide.
Okay. You hide.
As you remember, she spends most of her time, she doesn't like confrontation. She doesn't like being around other people, probably because of her inability to speak. So she immediately goes into the shadowiest, darkest corner and disappears into it.
Okay. Sorry.
No, please, go ahead.
Esther just stands by the table with the ritual knife in her hand and bleeding over her wrist.
Oh, yeah. Susie would have stopped you before you cut yourself.
Oh, okay.
So you haven't quite done that yet. And you haven't raised your potency yet, which you might want to do before you start bleeding.
Okay. Makes sense.
Hunter, you kick the door open or push the door open, and there you see Astrid standing with a knife in one hand and Dean's torpid body on a table.
Whoa.
Hello. Come in.
All right, then.
I mean, it is your place after all.
I guess.
Sorry
seems
for
like
taking residence here for a while.
No need to apologize. Well, seems like you've been making better use of it than I have.
I wouldn't call it that, but we didn't have anywhere else to go. The sun was rising.
Yeah. Why have you got that thing on the table and not a pile of ash in the sunrise?
That's a good question. Because when I see his face, I want to break his face in. I want to break his nose in. I want to gouge out his eyes. He's a terrible person. The way he treated me was he used me for his own ways of keeping tabs on you guys as much as he could. Not that I made it an easy job.
And why is he still here?
Because I didn't want to drink him. I didn't want to. Not after I told you I wouldn't do it anymore. But I also don't want to stake him because that was fun. I wouldn't be able to live with myself doing that to someone.
Right. think I understand that one. I've just come from a very difficult conversation with someone who is, well, someone who didn't do anything wrong. But, well, I've told you how I feel about diablerie. It's everything I hate in our condition. But I, once again, was a little hasty in my, I guess, telling you off. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever it is you want to do, I'm here to help you. But I can't help you unless you tell me what's going on.
What do you want to know?
Everything. The mysterious shadows that you can conjure, the people that you hang around with that don't seem to be Camarilla, the relationship you have with this man, what you want to do next.
Well, let's start from the top, I guess. She leans back against the table, balances the knife between her fingers. Let's start with him. For one, even though that feels like starting at the very end, but for me, many things began when I met him. Not the worst, not everything, but he did take me in, which I am a bit grateful for, if we want to call it that. Initially, I was anyway, but he's a very cold, calculating man. I can see where people are coming from. And I suppose part of me also wants to see him gone, see him ash scattered across Myrtle Beach, the very Myrtle Beach that he pranced up there. I don't know where his child is gone. I don't know why he treated him like shit after he learned that I was, I suppose, maybe more powerful. I'm not entirely sure. I just think I was thrust into a lot of threads that were very tangled. One of them has to do with Anita and Oblivion.
The woman at the...
I think so.
That was her when... Wow.
Of course, Hunter, you remember Anita is the one who put the final end to your ancestor.
I do. That brings up some...
It would.
Yeah, in Hunter, he probably takes like a very half step back. Yeah.
I didn't have a choice, you know. In comparison, she has a lot of... She could make sure I was gone. so easily. And she wants me to reestablish the sisters, the very ones that, killed me. I have not figured that one out yet, how I'm going to get out of that one. But this one here might help.
At that moment, Susie comes out from the shadows. Hunter, you were not aware that anyone else here. You know from the cameras that Caden showed you that Susie was there, but you did not see her, of course. You know she is La Sombra, easily hides in the darkness. She pulls on your arm, Astrid, and indicates that this is the way you could get out of Anita's thrall. And holds the stake in her hand really tightly, looks at you, Hunter, as if she is ready to hand it to you if Astrid will not take it.
No, please don't. She doesn't even want to look at the stake. If I wake him up, everything in me wants me to wake him up. His time is not come yet.
Do you think you'll get another chance at that, though?
I don't want to keep killing.
I can respect that.
I'm tired of it. I don't want to play these games. I don't want to be Prince. And she looked at Susie. I know what they say. I know that they say that the people who don't want to lead are the ones that make the best leaders in the end. But no, I want to do this from the shadows. I don't want to stay in the spotlight. I never wanted to do that.
In that moment, as you make this admonition, you hear clapping coming from outside the door.
Hunter turns around and gets out his pistol.
Mm-hmm. I heard you do that. I have excellent hearing. All of you recognize the voice of Dean's other child, Ethan.
And this asshole.
Is anyone going to let me in, or should I let myself in?
Your call. If you want him in here, Astrid.
I mean, come in.
The door swings open, and all of you see a tall, gangly man that Ethan is, very elderly, in his early 80s at least, thinning gray hair. Astrid. I put so much planning and manipulation into getting Cananti to think that I was part of his little sword of Cain, to getting my hands on the bomb. And you saved Daddy anyway. What were you thinking?
What was I thinking, I wonder? Were you not going to save him?
I planted the bomb. I wanted him to die. I wanted them all to die. I was hoping that you would die at the hands of Cananti, since you were all stupid enough to go meet him face to face. But apparently I can't get anything that I want. Can't get Daddy to love me. To answer the question that you asked earlier, why does he like you more than me? Well, I'm such a disappointment, aren't I? Waited decades for Father to finally come around and make me one of the children of the night. And he decided to do it when I was frail and in my 80s in a hospital. And I I just don't fit into the Camarilla the way that he wants to. I want what is owed to me. I want positions of power and acknowledgement. Everything that I deserve, that I have deserved for decades. But no. He looks at you and you're so meek and so subservient and so obedient, and he just loves that about you.
Have you
You're so...
Have you considered seeing the therapist?
I did in my mortal years. Doesn't really help those of our kind, at least not in my experience.
Why does his approval matter to you so much? You're far more capable on your own, aren't you? He's a brick holding you back.
Well, he's not holding me back from anything anymore. That is, unless you decide to wake him up.
So you wouldn't wake him up anymore? You don't want his approval any longer?
He had enough chances over the last 60 some odd years to get my approval. He abandoned our family and went and became a member of the Tremere, a ghoul first and then a vampire. My mother died heartbroken and insane. And I was left alone, wondering about the father who never loved me. And then he came back, and I thought everything would be as it should, and it was not. Because we are all of us selfish monsters, aren't we, Astrid? How did grandfather taste? I bet it was spicy.
Tasted like revenge.
For us, a dish best served hot.
He was cold. I'm sorry. At least towards the end.
I don't want a confrontation here. Obviously, my plans are not working in my favor, but that doesn't mean I can't adjust the trajectory.
What do you want?
I want you, Astrid. You are beloved in what is left of the Camarilla, and eventually more will come. Candanti will burn himself out eventually. It's pure chaos energy. There's nothing left in him. There's no plans. The plan is a bomb, and a bomb is just an explosion. There's nothing to fill the vacuum afterwards, and the Camarilla will do that just fine. So, you don't want to be prince. Like I said, good hearing. Be prince in name only. Sit on the throne. Make appearances at Elysium. Work your magic in the shadows. And let me run everything else.
But I thought you wanted positions and stuff.
Oh, I'll have them.
Shouldn't we change those roles?
I'll have the positions that I want through you. And it won't require me to have to put on any airs to make these people like me. You seem to do that naturally. They'll think it's you running the show, but it really will be me. Nothing will be required of you. You won't have to make any difficult decisions, and you can stay with your pirate boy toy. Father always hated you, by the way.
Little old me.
You took his favorite away far too often.
That just warms my heart. Thank you.
I've heard your kind get warmed from the inside quite often. They're not careful.
Even if we are sometimes. Look, I can see that you want all of the very important things that the Camarilla can give you. But may I make a suggestion?
Oh, suggestion from an anarch. I was hoping for a chuckle tonight.
Good. Well, how about you find your way to some other place that puts stock in all the hand-wringing that you're doing and leave us alone. You're
I see.
clearly way overqualified for whatever this is.
Do not try and flatter me, deceiver.
Oh, don't worry. The qualifications that you have are nothing I admire.
See, the problem is, should I mosey, wander to another domain, there is already a prince in place with his court, his seneschal, his scourge. Even if I were to go to another chantry, they have their regent and they have their acolytes, and I do not want to rebuild myself from the bottom up. I got a leg up when I was embraced by the Prince of Myrtle Beach, and he did not give me what I was due. And now I have removed him from the situation. There is a vacuum. There is no prince, and I have no better opportunity than this one here. If you were smart, you and your anarchs would take part of it as well. Think of what you could do, Astrid. You could join the anarchs and the Camarilla together. It doesn't matter to me. My ambitions go beyond just something the Camarilla can have. I just need their influence. I need the name. I need the money attached to those who belong to the Ivory Tower. We can make Myrtle Beach great again, I hear the humans keep saying.
See, it does sound like an interesting proposal. But the problem is, I really hate being a pawn. That's all I was since forever. So I wonder if we can meet in another deal.
I'm sorry. Somewhere. You give me your decision now.
Or?
You give me your decision now and end Dean Preston's on life. Or we will meet again under much, let's say, different circumstances.
Hunter looks at Astrid to get the vibe of whether she wants Hunter to shoot him in the head or to stake Dean or something.
He holds his hand up. I have come alone and unarmed, save for what courses inside my body.
Well, that was a very stupid thing to do. I'm going to point my weapon at him. It's your call, Astrid. I don't care what happens to him.
In another life, Ethan, I would feel bad for you. You would have my pity.
Yuck.
See, we wouldn't have gotten along ever. I'm sorry.
So that's your decision then?
Yeah. I'll see you some other time then, under those different circumstances.
You'll be seeing me real soon. Good evening, Astrid.
Good evening.
He turns. The soft leather shoes that he's wearing just pad almost silently across the floor. And he closes the door a little bit too loudly.
I can see why you wanted out of that family. Are you okay?
I was adopted into it, and I take pride in that. Yeah. However, now, I need to wake him up. I need to clean up his own mess.
I mean, I don't.
Is that
like
okay with you?
I don't think it has to be. I don't like any of the options here. Either we kill him or eat him or wake him up. it all sucks. So I'm with you on this one. I don't know.
I'll wake him up. It'll come bite me in the ass at some point, but what hasn't so far?
That's fair. To begin? Oh, yes.
Is there a way we can make sure he does what we tell him? We've got, you lot don't do blood bonds, do you?
Well, I can try.
Astrid, you have been informed and you are now aware that blood bonds do not work with Tremere, as in that they cannot bond kindred to themselves any longer since the breaking of the pyramid. Hunter, what is your blood potency?
Oof. Mine? Good question. It's 1.
Not nearly enough. Astrid, you need to raise your own blood potency in order to be able to wake him. And you need to roll a significant number of successes in order to do that.
Is there any way I can help?
What is the type of help that you want to provide, ideally?
I'm not sure. I could provide her blood to use, or I don't know how her magic works. But yeah, I offer her help if she can think of anything I can help with.
Things that you could do. Offer her sustenance. But she has informed you the cost of that.
Right, yeah. No, I'm not doing that then. Sorry. Sorry. I have a blood bag with me.
You do? Secondly, you could create this environment to look to Dean as if it might be something that he needs to pay attention to Astrid, that he might be in immortal danger should he not do whatever she commands with your Fata Morgana. That's
a much smarter idea, but it is something, Trixie, that Hunter would think of. So yeah, he's going to ask, Astrid, do you have any idea what he's afraid of?
Trying to think. She would know, but
if you would know what Dean's afraid of personally, perhaps not. But he has told you a story that one time he was trapped inside the haunted house where you died, Astrid. And when he was inside that house, he was trapped in a nightmare. And I will relay the nightmare to Hunter because he did tell you this story. And inside the nightmare, he was with his young son, Ethan, the son who cried for his father. And he was compelled to be kind to his son and tell his son how much he loves him and that he's sorry that he wasn't there for him and that he will come and save him. So as much as he is hard on Ethan, it would not be out of the norm to assume that he's hard on Ethan because he blames himself for Ethan being the way he is. So should Hunter create some sort of illusion that shows Ethan as a child or even creates Astrid to be as Ethan, he may listen to whatever you say and believe he is trapped once again in that nightmare.
Mm-hmm. That seems like a noble use of Fata Morgana in that case. Yeah. I think Hunter starts with Ethan as an old man, and in fact he prepares that image in his mind so he can replicate it if he needs to spook him with multiple apparitions. But yeah, he's going to prepare this young child version or image.
And Fata Morgana, of course, can be multifaceted. Yes. So depending on how many successes you get, I'm going to see how much Astrid is going to be affected by it. And I'm going to see how successful you're going to be able to be in replicating this nightmare.
Okay.
Please make me a rouse check and then make me that roll. Astrid, in the meantime, make me a rouse check.
Get bonus.
And then roll me in blood sorcery and resolve.
can I also ask for to help complete the illusion for the La Sombra to darken this place?
Of course, Susie has just been standing there. If you get her attention, she'll listen to you.
Susie, would you mind making it so he can't see the walls? I've got to prepare the space.
She nods, and she holds out her arms, and both of you can see that she begins pulling shadows from every corner of the room and spreading them out. So the room is, Hunter, you will not be able to see. You can keep this illusion up, but you are not going to be able to see your own surroundings. Anything else is hiding in this room. And she creates it entirely dark.
Thank you, Susie.
Right.
Astrid, intelligence and resolve. Did you make that roll? Excuse me, blood, sorcery, and resolve.
1 second. Where do I roll this? I keep
Click on.
being lost in this one.
You can click
Blood,
on.
sorcery, and resolve.
Yeah. And whenever you have your roll, Hunter. I don't have the roll 20 open, so you have to let me know.
Hunter got 6.
That is an excellent number of successes. If you want, do you have any willpower to spend or any black dice?
Yes. He can.
If you could push it even further, I will determine that Astrid will not be affected by it, as in she will remain in total control of her environment and her faculties, and that you will be able to replicate this as perfectly as one could who was not actually there, if you can push it further than 6.
Yeah, I think I will. That is another 2.
This is going to be your magnum opus of Fata Morgana, Hunter. And you can tell by how perfectly it's coming together in your mind. Astrid.
Yeah.
What was your, I don't have the roll 20 open. What was your blood sorcery roll?
My blood sorcery roll, I'm trying to figure which one that is. I don't think it says that.
If you're on the roll 20, Josh, can you help her?
Was that the one you just did, the resolve and blood sorcery?
Yeah.
You got 1 success, but there's 4 dice there. I don't know how many you've got in the dots.
I've got 4 in resolve, and then blood sorcery, another 3. Well, that's weird.
So I guess you could probably roll another 3.
Yes.
I would say let's redo that roll, since that roll seems really funky. So roll me slash, what is it, 6d10?
Slash R space 6d10.
And then make me 1 rouse check for your hunger dice. Let's do it that way.
6.
7. 7. As I figured out.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
That's a way better roll. That's 1, 2, 3.
Kind of good.
4.
4 successes. Just excellent.
And the rouse check, you said?
Yes, just make me 1 rouse check for that.
Success.
And a success. Astrid, an excellent control of the vitae in your body and your beast. You call upon these reserves inside of you. You speak to the blood inside of you. You are a practiced blood sorceress. And you look at your own hands, trace the lines where the blood would be inside your body, follow them up your arm. And Hunter, as you are preparing your Fata Morgana, you think maybe that she is glowing red, just a little. And you feel stronger. Power surges through your limbs. You're going to increase your blood potency by 2. And for the rest of the night, you are not going to be able to feed successfully on any blood bags, and only half from humans. But it will only last 1 night. And right now you are not hungry. You take your dagger, cut your wrist, and you are going to feed and awaken your sire. Is that correct? Press your wrist to his mouth. The blood trickles in. 3 rouse checks.
2 successes.
You're only at hunger 2. He does not take as much from you as you expected. Maybe it is just because you are in so much control right now that nothing could rain on your parade. And as you feed him, his eyes begin to flutter, his limbs start to twitch, and Hunter, you know that is the sign to unleash your illusion onto this room. And although Astrid cannot see this, Susie will definitely be able to see it. The room turns into bits of black marble. And the floor becomes uneven, places of concrete that have been broken off and jut out. It's extraordinarily strange and unnerving, Hunter, even for you who is creating it. There is furniture in this room that looks old and degrading. It's from the 1950s, you think. And there's a little boy standing there where Astrid should be, and where you know Astrid is, waiting, watching for their father to awake. Dean opens his eyes and sits straight up. Astrid, you came. I called you. You came.
Does she know she's going to look like?
No, Astrid, you don't. To you, nothing is happening but Dean waking up. When he turns to look at you, oh my God, Ethan. Ethan, my boy. What are you doing here, Emma? I swore I would never find myself here again.
I reach out to cup his cheek.
He reaches out to cup yours. My boy, my lad, have I fallen into the nightmare again? I thought I killed those witches who did this for the first time. They must be back. Are you here to tell me how much you hate me, how much I failed you as a father?
I nod a little.
Last time you told me what I had to do to get out. Tell me, I will do anything. Anything you want. I did what you asked the first time. I went and I made you like I am. I saved you like I couldn't save you before. What do you want of me now?
I need saving too.
Of course.
Save me from myself.
How?
I've grown to really hate you when I get older.
Oh, I know. It's my fault. I look, and every time I look at him, I see myself and I see the failures that I made. And I can't love him, not the way I love you.
Why?
Because he's not you anymore. He's old and he's bitter. He hates me. He's angry at me for all the horrible things I did. And I can't, now that I've made him a monster, he will never forgive me.
Can't you make it better?
I've tried, Ethan. I've tried. But I took away his humanity when I made him, when I did what you wanted the first time. And now it is too hard to make him feel the way he should anymore. And I don't even know if I feel for him the way I should because I am a monster.
Then you need saving from the monster.
I think so, yes.
How can you do that?
I don't know. Many of my kind have tried. Some look for Golconda, some go to the priests and try and get cleansed. I've never heard of anything working.
But you're very smart, aren't you? You could keep looking.
Is that what you want me to do? You want me to tame my beast, erase my beast? If I promise to do that, will you let me free of this nightmare? You let me return to my child, Astrid. I did something good, Ethan. I did it for the wrong reasons, but she's smart and capable, and I think you would like her if I had not done what you asked me to do the first time.
I think I don't like her. I think you like her more than me.
I do.
That makes me sad. Why are you like this?
I told you, everything is harder. Every time I look at him, I just see every way I failed him. I see his mother's face.
But just because it's hard, it's not impossible. Right?
No, nothing's impossible. I will do this for you, Ethan. I've only ever wanted to make you happy, and I've made so many mistakes.
I hope you can convince me.
I will. I promise. I promise I'll convince you.
Okay.
But this, you won't haunt me again if I do this, right?
Okay.
He pulls you into a hug. Of course, Hunter, you see this and you've heard this entire exchange. Whether it makes you feel differently about Dean or not, it's entirely up to you. You see him hugging Astrid deeply. And it's up to you whether you allow the illusion to drop or not.
Yeah, I want to leave him with that impression, just as, he lets go of his son.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, in that place is Astrid, and he's going to actually kind of use silence of death and hide himself and make sure that the La Sombra is also hidden.
Susie will take the cue from you and begin falling back into one of the shadows she has created.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that impression in his mind that she has replaced this child, Ethan.
Mm-hmm. As the illusion falls away and Dean is still hugging you tightly, Astrid, he realizes now that he's holding you and not his son. He sort of puts you in front of him. Just, I have never come out of torpor before. And if that's what it's like, I never want to do it again.
I'm sorry I was late.
You saved me though, didn't you?
I did.
Where's Ethan?
There are things you should know before I tell you. He left. He had to do with a lot of the things that went wrong. He meant to hurt you. More than hurt you.
I suspected as much. Come, take me to where it happened. I want to see the damage for myself. We will figure everything out, and we'll do it together. The Camarilla, the ivory tower cannot fall. Not as long as you are here.
What do you mean?
As long as you are here, you are my child. You are raised in the Camarilla. The people respect you. As long as you are here, the Camarilla will not falter. And I am here to be their prince.
Do you trust him?
Ethan?
No, the tower.
Oh, my sweet girl. In all the confusion, have you forgotten any of your lessons? You never trust anyone. Only yourself. He hops down off the table and begins to walk over to the door. Come, I want to see. We need a head count as soon as possible of who's gone. And I need to find Ethan.
He will be back for me so long as I stay at your side. He said he will come back for me, for saving you, just so you know. So if you don't find him, he'll eventually come.
Well, I should keep you close then, shouldn't I?
Except I don't want to.
You
Don't
don't want
get me
to
wrong.
what?
I don't want to be a pawn anymore. I woke you. And for that, I want my freedom to choose, my freedom to learn.
I suppose for waking me, I do owe you a boon. If you want to choose, make your choice and come find me when you're ready. Right now, I need to see what of my people are left.
That's fair.
Thank you, Astrid. And he wanders out of the room.
Just sits back onto the table.
Yeah, Hunter kind of appears out of a shadowy corner of the room and sits down next to her and puts his hand on hers. How are you feeling?
Very empty at the moment. But good. I feel like if I could still breathe, this would be the time where I would say I can breathe finally easily, I suppose. And yet it's scary. And thank you. I could not have done it without you. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what exactly was going to happen, but I caught on, I suppose.
You would have done just fine without me, but it does feel nice to hear that you've got the space to decide. And I guess I want to make sure that you get what you want.
Honestly,
So you don't have to figure it out now, but ask him for what you want. Wrap him around your little finger and maybe we'll burn him someday. But it will be on your timeline.
And with new rumblings, shifts of political power in the Grand Strand, and Astrid, maybe for the first time in her own life, having a chance of being free. We are going to end this epilogue 4, Does the Darkness Know Your Name? This evening. Thank you guys. So excellent. Oh my God.